I'd like to remind everyone to please make sure that all cell phones are turned to the off or vibrate position. Also, please be advised our city council meetings are broadcast on television, on Comcast Channel 99, and rebroadcast on WMGJ Radio. This meeting of the Gadsden City Council will now come to order. The chair calls on City Clerk Ivan Nelson for the roll call.
Councilwoman Toles. Here. Councilman Williams.
Here.
Worthy.
Here.
Eccles. Here. Billingsley.
Here.
Cannon.
Here.
And Reed.
Here.
We have a quorum present and our meeting is open for business. I'm going to ask President Williams to lead the invocation. Please stand and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Father, we thank you for the opportunity to convene today, Lord God. Thank you for all of those in attendance. Father, we ask that you would continue to touch us as a city, Father God, and move us forward in the direction that you would have us to go. Lord God, we ask that you would touch each individual, both in an elected capacity and those that are not, Father God. Continue to bless us and grant us a liberal portion of wisdom, Father, that we make decisions that are pleasing in your sight. And through it all, we give you the glory, the honor, and the praise. For it's in Jesus' name we ask it all. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the work session and city council meeting held on January 26th.
So moved. Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to approve minutes.
The chair will entertain a motion to ratify payment of accounts for the week of January 22nd through the 28th.
So moved. Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to ratify payment of the accounts.
Proclamations, Mayor. Unfinished business, we have item number 8A, which is an ordinance authorizing conveyance of property at 2322 Chancellor Avenue. This ordinance was presented last week for first reading. It is to clear up title issues. In 2008, the city had assigned nuisance abatement liens to Beck and Hunt Residential and had also acquired a tax deed. The city is being reimbursed for its cost of $1,053.15 and is releasing its interest in the property. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this ordinance.
So moved. Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the ordinance, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Item number 8B is a resolution ordering abatement of nuisances on property located at 203 East Chestnut Street in District 4, Colonial Arms Properties LLC and EVA Bank being the last known owners. This resolution was tabled for 30 days on December 29th. What is the pleasure of the council?
I move that we continue the 30 days for, they're working on the property, so give them another 30 days.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second for an additional 30-day table. Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to table for 30 days.
Item number 9 is a resolution repealing resolution numbers R747-05 and R154-07 regarding traffic, noise, and litter fines. This repeals these resolutions which directed a portion of traffic, noise, and litter fines to be used for police overtime and traffic enforcement equipment. The police department's current budget is sufficient for the need. It is no longer necessary to account for these fines separately, which created an extra burden on employees. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion?
Well, I was going to briefly say, this is just an accounting measure. It's not going to say that we're going to stop doing any of that. We're going to continue on, but with technology, we've sort of been upgraded and we can keep up with it a lot easier.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor.
And I would like to say in the remarks later, I would like to say a few words about that, the litter in the North.
Okay. All right, clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Okay. New business, is there any new business?
Yes, Mr. President, I have one. It's Resolution 045. It's adopting the Create a Clean Water Future campaign to assist with the city's NPDES MS-4 permit. Ask for unanimous consent to consider.
Second.
Okay. Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to consider the resolution today as an item of new business, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, consent has been granted.
Yeah, I move to adopt.
Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
Yes, this is
I think it ought to
simply,
be said that we have, this is for stormwater, and the litter thing that we talked about is directly involved in a clean water. You can't have the litter run, and then it's all over the streets, and then it rains, goes down in the air and goes into the river. So the litter is so important that we do everything we can to see that we get as much of it up as we possibly can. Mayor, I know you're gonna do everything you can to do that, and the chief of police, he's gonna be sure that his officers are, it's very hard to do. I know, I see it all the time. And, I don't know that there's anything that the average person can do except not throw it out. And in other words, can you call the police? Can you give them a tag number? Is there anything that you can do, Chief?
We can look into it later on, but there's some aspects of determining who it was that did it, that may not be the person associated with the tag.
Okay, that's all.
Okay.
this is to create the Clean Water Future campaign. This is what this resolution is, well, on what Bob said.
Okay. All right. Is there any additional discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Is there any more new business? Department reports, committees, boards. Okay.
Good morning, and thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to come and speak before the council. I'm Kay Moore. I'm Director for Downtown Gadsden. And I want to talk about the chili cook-off, but before I do that, I've got something that people have asked me a lot of questions about. In fact, I got a question this morning. We basically kicked First Friday off back off in March. But we do it in kind of a modified manner. But what we do in March, 4 years ago, our board voted on something that we're going to focus March and focus on all the nonprofit organizations in the city of Gadsden. So we call March First Friday Downtown Gadsden Gives Back. So if you know someone who has a registered nonprofit organization, registered with the IRS as a 501c3, and they want to come and participate in March First Friday, March the 4th, from 5 to 7, we don't say come and just hand out things. We invite people to come and talk to people about their organization. What do they do? Play a game. We've had the Boy Scouts that have made s'mores on the sidewalk before. We've had people bring cornhole games. So you get people over, you interact with them, and you explain what your nonprofit does. So I wanted to say that first because we do need to know. If I wait till I get up here the last, it's going to be too late. So we need to know if someone does have a nonprofit that wants to participate, call our office, 256-547-8696. And that way we're going to start on that right after we get through with the chili cook-off, which is this Saturday, February the 6th. Cooking, we have 23 teams that have registered. Cooking begins at as early as 7 o'clock. They have to have the chili ready by noon. We have our judges lined up and ready to go. The weather, if you look at it, is going to be beautiful. 30 degrees in that morning and up to about 54 degrees in the afternoon, and it says a 0% chance of rain. So it couldn't be any better, I think, for a good cup of chili. You buy tickets to this. They're $1 a ticket, and you get a small serving of chili. You can get 6 tickets for $5, and then you go around and you decide which chili you would like to taste. So the one with the most tickets wins the crowd favorite. We do have first, second, and third prizes awarded by the judges. So it's just going to be a lot of fun. This year it's kind of different. We've got our winning team last year has split, and now there's two teams. So they're both claiming that they're returning champions, so this should be interesting this year. But just some interesting names that we've got. Fiery Justice, that's the District Attorney Jody Willoughby's team. The Greater Gadsden Traveling Tutors is Greater Gadsden Area Tourism. I thought that was pretty neat. Blooming Broads, that's one of our downtown merchants, the Blooms on Broad, and they're called the Blooming Broads. Professor Blackstone, that's Blackstone's Pub and Eatery. And I think probably the most unusual name, and I think it's kind of funny, Trumpalicious, Making Chili Great Again. So, I mean, you got to give them credit. That's a strange name. So come on down. I want to thank Parks and Recreation, Courtney and his crew. They are setting up the tables for us and the chairs. So we'll be there early. We'll be there at 7, but we'll start eating at 12. Don't wait too late because you don't want to miss out. It's good, and just have a good time. We'll have Broad Street closed from 4th to 6th Streets. Invite the classic cars to come down and just eat. Yes, Mayor?
I didn't want to interrupt you. You got through.
Oh,
Right through.
I'm done.
I was just going to say you got the basketball thing lined up, a week ago at the high school.
Yes, sir.
And it snowed you out, I understand, but you missed me and Councilman Worthy and Councilman Williams. We had a mini tramp, and we all hit that and dunked the ball, so you missed a treat.
I wish I had been there, and yes, and that I'm going to blame that on Heather New from the chamber.
Yeah.
She's the one that told me cars were sliding up and down the mountain, and that's why I didn't get out and come. But I did send you a text message.
Yeah, you did. If
I
you
did.
believe that, I got some swampland.
Well, I saw it on Facebook, so you know if it's on Facebook, it's true too. So. But thank y'all. I look forward to seeing everybody Saturday.
What, it was on Facebook?
The car sliding up and off the mountain was on
okay.
Facebook. Not y'all. No.
Thank you.
No. just the car. Just the car. But thank you, man.
Yeah.
I hope y'all can come out Saturday. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Kay. Thank you. And Mayor, I'm so glad you brought that up because we had one who faked it. Who developed an ailment right before the event a couple weeks ago. I'm not gonna call any names, but yeah, ended up not participating. But it was a good event. I think the kids enjoyed it.
Yeah, they did.
They enjoyed laughing at us.
It was something to laugh at.
And that's why I had an ailment.
Yeah.
All right. And thanks again, Kay. And please be mindful of all of those dates and times. I've attended the chili cook-off at least for the last couple of years, and it's always a good event. So, and you should, I guess, you should be mindful of your own intestinal issues and be smart about how much of that chili you take in.
Can
All
we have Heath or the chief to talk about the road closure over by Donahue and how long it's going to be closed?
Sure. Go ahead, Heath. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, we actually have another road closure. This is becoming the norm just as a matter of infrastructure improvements that have occurred all at once. So our apologies, it's certainly not intended to fall all at once, but this is the way this has gone. We will be closing Peyton Rich Avenue to all through traffic from East Broad Street to George Wallace Drive in order to replace several existing culverts. There's actually 4 within the vicinity of one location, and we'll have some utility work that we're coordinating in the middle of that as well. But that will be, that road closure will occur on Monday, February 8th, 2016, and depending on weather, is my disclaimer that I always say, we're expecting that to last 45 to 60 days. Of course, if it can, we can complete the work quicker, by all means, we will certainly open the road just as quickly as we can. But we appreciate your patience and just bear with us. Thanks.
How will they get in to Donahue? How they gonna get into Donahue School?
There's, it's actually just gonna be closed right there at about mid-street, so that you can still access off of East Broad. You just won't be able to go all the way to George Wallace Drive.
Okay.
So all the other roads will remain open. There's only a stretch of about probably 50 feet that'll be closed. Right there in front of the trade school.
So they have to come around on East Broad to come in
Yes.
on Peyton Ridge, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you,
We
Heath.
sign it in advance just so you don't get surprised.
Thank you,
Is
Heath.
the school and those people aware of it so that they can make notice to their parents and?
Right, we send out notices to all media members. At the same time, we've got a mass list that we send all these notices to, so everyone should well be aware. The same ones that received the ones for South Leather Street, et cetera, everyone that we've had. To my knowledge, if anyone needs to be added to that, please let us know, but we've got a pretty good list that we put.
Because you know that there's gonna be somebody that's gonna say they didn't know anything about it. I read it in the paper, but there are gonna be people who say they didn't know anything about it, they hadn't heard about it. So I just wanted to make sure on Channel 99 that everybody heard that they were notified.
Yeah, and I read it on Facebook.
So it was true.
All right, thank you again, Heath. That's a good point. Now we're down to remarks by the mayor and council. Mayor? Okay. Councilwoman Toles? Councilman Evans?
Nope.
Councilman Worthy?
Got a lot to say. No, I'm just joking. I just want to announce that my community meeting for District 3 will be at Thompson on Thursday at 5:30, and I will have the engineer there, Mr. Heath, to present. So if you have any problems with road issues or anything, come on out and you can talk directly to the engineer.
Councilman Billingsley?
Yes, I will have my community meeting at Banks Park the second Monday, which will be this coming Monday, from 5 till 6. So everybody in the whole city is welcome to come. I also went over to the museum at Elliott Community Center yesterday, and there were two of the nicest young ladies that were showing me around in there. There are some artifacts over there that people probably need to look at and be amazed at. Some of the things of the history of Gadsden and Etowah County, but it's a lot of Indian artifacts. I mean, tremendous amount. And they have not got it all categorized yet. So that's one of the things that we could go and visit and get some pleasure out of our past. And that's it.
Okay. Councilman Cannon?
I don't have anything.
Councilman Reed?
Yeah, I just want to touch on what we talked about earlier about litter, noise, and so on and so forth. I was dead serious about war on litter and noise in this city because we're getting loaded up, absolutely getting loaded up. But it's going to have to be, the citizens of Gadsden, Alabama are going to have to cooperate with the police department in their active role to get this done. We're not going to do it by ourselves. And the chief has told us that they will be more involved in the proactive side. Anybody in Gadsden has seen the litter van going by, and it's full. This council bought that litter van and trailer in 1997, I believe, didn't it? 96 or 7. And it's done a great job. But the problem is they can't even keep up with it. I mean, as soon as you go through there and they pick up on the street, here they come right behind throwing the stuff out in front of people's houses. It's ridiculous. So I would just call him. We passed this Clean Water Future campaign to do something about it. And I think it's really time that Hart Washam's 1960 idea and dream to clean this city up came about. It's about time. It's just bad on people coming into town who've never been here before. And anyway, I just think it's time, Mayor. We really need to buckle down, proactively get at it, but ask the citizens to get in there with us.
Right.
That's the secret to it. Don't throw it out to start with, like Bob said,
Right.
but at least be with it.
You know, there's plastic bags everywhere. All you got to do is keep a couple in your car. When you fill them up, drop them off, stick them in your trash can, go by the recycle. I mean, it's pretty easy just to do that because I have a 15-year-old, and there's a lot of stuff in the back seat. About once or twice a week, we get it out and put it where it needs to be.
On 8th Street going up the mountain in front.
Yeah. Oh, I
It's
know.
amazing.
You're
People
right.
put it in that Kmart sag or whatever we are, tie it up, and then when they're on the way up there, throw it out.
That's right.
All at one time.
They do that.
Yeah.
And the dog comes by and tears it up and then spreads it up. Please, 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 turn your neighbor in. If you see him out there throwing trash on the street, turn him in. Hey, people can live in garbage. That's the ones that throw it out on the street. You go to their house and look, it's worse shape the street is. I know, I done been there, seen it. I know.
Me too.
People like that.
Pickup truck seems to be the biggest seller of automobiles. And people just throw their bags and so forth in the back of that truck. And then when they ride down the street, it blows out everywhere. And it would be nice if they would put it in a bag and tie it up and put it in there where it wouldn't blow out.
Well, I have all the books from Hoyt Warsham's campaign in the 60s in my office, if that new group would like to have them, and I'm serious, he had beautiful ideas about how to do it. Trouble is, never got around to do it.
Well, again, I think those are all points well made, and you know, we all get our share. Over the past couple of weeks, I've gotten both phone calls and Facebook messages from constituents in District 2 who are concerned about trash. I had one young lady who called because the neighbor behind her had actually dumped trash out in the alley, and they don't bother to maintain a can or do anything in terms of keeping the yards looking nice. And so I appreciate her for reaching out to us, and in all fairness to Public Works, they got right on it. Within a day or so, they were out there, they got it cleaned up. And if you think you're doing that and you're not being noticed, you're sadly disillusioned, because not only do our officers respond to it and monitor it, but Public Works is also monitoring that activity as well, in a lot of ways that I will not comment on right now, but they are monitoring that activity. So again, if you've got that kind of thing going on, don't hesitate to let City Hall know. I mean, you got two options. You can reach out to your elected official, or you can call the folks at Public Works, and either way works just as good.
Council President, I said in a district meeting, you know, everybody has a phone and everybody has a camera on their phone. Start taking pictures, because I know in the Green Passes area, they were talking about there's somebody that's coming and trying to dump tires in that area. So I'm saying, you know, a lot of times people don't want to turn their friends in, or they don't want to be a snitch. But use your cell phone and take a picture of it, and you know, let your cell phone be the snitch. and turn these people in. But that's what one of the problems is. We talk about it, we see the people who do it, we know the people who do it, but then we don't want to say anything about it. So the problem continues. The problem continues.
On a light note, I got to tell you this. I came out of Jack's one morning, a little girl was sitting in her car, and she got through eating the stuff. She just put it out on the ground. And I walked over and I said, "Why don't you pick that up?" She said, "Why should I?" And I said, "Because as a police officer, I can stand right over there." She said, "I think I'll just pick it up." But that's what it is. You got to have cooperation, you know.
On tires, we stay after that pretty good. There's some place you'll see them stacked up, but our nuisance and abatement, they know where they go. They're, you know, because we used to have to pick up a lot of dump tires, but that's sort of gone. But we try to keep up. That has to go to a special place, and we keep an eye with these companies.
Yeah. This is a truck that comes by night. They wait till people are sleep, or either they're in their houses, and so they come and they want to dump. In fact, those neighbors are saying that people are coming in their area and dumping trash. But you've got to be proactive as a neighborhood, and you've got to see, you know, hey, stay up one night. If you hear something, and take pictures, but get a tag or do something, but you've got to do something also.
Yeah, no, and then again, those are all good points. We have a dynamic in our city that is kind of unique, I think, to southern states, and that's, you know, we've got a lot of our cities butt up, our commercial areas butt up against residential areas.
Exactly.
And I've got a constituent in my district who oftentimes calls me, and I listen to him because he needs an outlet. His house for years has been right next to a commercial area. And so now that we're starting to grow in terms of some of the commercial activity, he's starting to see a lot of noise pollution, a lot of traffic pollution, and a lot of actual trash. And it's a dilemma, because we don't want to stop the growth, but at the same time, people really need to be more responsible, and they need to be sensitive to those commercial areas that are right next to them. So again, we don't, you know, the phone calls are needed. We need to be made aware of what's going on. So definitely, when you are mindful of something like that, let us know.
I got a call yesterday in my community on North 11th where people just dump, they don't have a trash can, so they dumping trash in their backyard. Even though they have it in a trash bag, that's still, you can't do that. You know, and I wish Brian was here to go over the procedure for that. But I called him, and he had his people from Nuisance and Abatement of Glass, 2 houses like that. One didn't have a trash can, one did, but they just piling the trash up. You know, and even if it's on private property, you can call us, and we got ways of dealing with it.
All right. The only other thing I have is is it today or tomorrow that the legislature goes into session? Is it today? Is it today? Okay. Legislature goes into session. If you don't know, I track an organization called A+ Education, which is A+ Education is very, very good about sharing information about education, and I encourage anybody who has a passion for education to kind of follow some of their communications. But there was a Senate bill that was petitioned ahead of the legislature. I think it was actually sent out on yesterday, and they don't go into session until today. But it's Senate Bill 60, and the intent of the bill is to repeal the Alabama Common Core requirements, or the Common Core standards. Now, I don't know where everybody is as it relates to the Common Core standards, but I think everybody would agree that we have a tremendous opportunity to raise the standards of our educational system in our schools, so that when our young people graduate, they're employable. And I don't think anybody that's really passionate about the quality product that we're putting out in our schools, I don't think anybody would disagree with that. So whatever your position is, please track this one to some degree. Watch it and make sure that you're reaching out to your legislators to see how they're voting as it relates to this one. But it's Senate Bill 60, and it was actually introduced by Senator Rusty Glover. And he introduced it early yesterday, which is actually, again, before, which I think says a lot. But again, please be mindful of that. And there are a number of other bills that will be introduced, obviously during this session. One thing I think you should kind of keep your eye on and temper your expectations. One, don't expect the lottery bill to get passed. It'll get introduced and debated to death, but it's not going to pass. And you can call me a prophet when it's all said and done, but it's just not going to happen. Don't expect any new taxes to get passed, because they're not. This group is not going to pass any new taxes. They're attacking our ability to manage the gasoline tax. Hopefully that won't happen, because we need that flexibility as a municipality. We get so many unfunded mandates until we would like to have some ability to manage our budgetary items and drive our revenues versus expenses. So please be mindful of that. And again, there are a number of other things, but stay on top of this stuff, because it's one thing, to get it from us, but it's another thing to kind of understand it yourself. So again, we want to encourage everybody to track it and follow it. Is there anything else? Okay, I entertain a motion that we adjourn.
So moved.
Second.